Movie review number 1540 is Wicked 2 for Good. Wicked 2 for Good is a 2025 movie that is directed by John M. Chu, who also directed the first movie, along with movies like Crazy Rich Asians and In the Heights. So this movie is from Universal Pictures and is based on the Broadway adaptation of the same name. So I saw this movie on December 21st, 2025 at Cinemark Milford 16 in Milford, Ohio. Here's an ironic fact. I saw Wicked 1 earlier this year at Cinemark Milford 16 in January. Now in December, I saw Wicked 2 at Cinemark Milford 16. Interesting, right? So this is part 2 of the Broadway musical adaptation. And from what I heard, the first movie, which was released last year, represented Act 1 of the play, whereas the second movie, For Good, represented the second act of the play. So I believe the movie takes place about a year after the events of the first movie. Now demonized as the Wicked Witch of the West, Elphaba lives in exile in the Ozian forest, while Glinda resides at the palace in Emerald City, reveling in the perks of fame and popularity. As an angry mob rises against the Wicked Witch, she'll need to reunite with Glinda to transform herself in all of Oz for good. So, I can understand why the movie is subtitled For Good, as one of the whale songs in the movie is about For Good. I don't know if that is the title of the song, but it does have the line, I have been changed for good, or something like that. So basically, Elphaba is named the Wicked Witch of the West by the people of Oz. However, as you saw in the first movie, or if you saw in the first movie, she had actually good intentions, as she did not like Oz and his mistreatment of animals, and she wanted to do something about it. When the wizard refuses to help her, that's when things kind of turn wrong, and that's when the wizard and the rest of Oz declare Elphaba to be the Wicked Witch of the West. Now she lives in exile in the Ozian forest, and she wants to try to figure out a way to convince the people of Oz that the wizard is a fraud. But she realizes that the people of Oz will never believe her. Or maybe even Glinda, if Glinda were to say something about it. Now Glinda is Glinda the Good, and she is definitely reveling all the fame and popularity that is around her. However, she still has a soft spot for Elphaba, and she wants to try to get Elphaba back into civilization and maybe back on her side. So there's a little bit of conflict between Elphaba and Glinda at various parts in the movie, especially when we get more people involved in Oz, like the wizard and Madame Morable, as they are turning against Elphaba. And here's another thing that happens, what makes it even more complicated for Elphaba is that a young girl from Kansas named Dorothy, and along with 3 characters, the Scarecrow, Tin Man, and the Cowardly Lion, are tasked by the wizard to kill Elphaba. So Elphaba not only has to figure out how to get the animals back out of cages and back into wildlife, and to keep them safe in Oz, but she also has to figure out how to outrun the mob along with Dorothy and her pals, who are on a quest to kill her. But maybe if Alphaba reunites with Grinda, maybe they can formulate a plan. Oh, this was really good. I definitely enjoyed it. So this movie has Cynthia Erivo as Alphaba Throb. She is just a misunderstood young woman that was born with green skin, who is the wicked witch of the West. Ariana Grande portrays Grinda Upbrand, a popular young woman who is known as Grinda the Good. Scarlett Spears portrays a young Grinda in the movie. Jonathan Bailey portrays Ferial Tigreal, a Ridley prince who is now captain of the Gale Force that is in charge of capturing Alphaba. Ethan Swale portrays Bob Woodsman, a Munchkin who now works as Nesselro's servant. Bowen Yang portrays Pranfi, who is one of Grinda's college friends who now works as one of her assistants. Michelle Yeoh portrays Madame Morrible, the former dean of sorcery at Shiz University, who is now the press secretary for the Wizard. Jeff Goldblum portrays the wonderful Wizard of Oz. Melissa Bird portrays Nesselrose Throb, who is Alphaba's younger half-sister, who is now the governor of Munchkinland. Now, I'm only saying this because they confirmed this. Coleman Domingo portrays the voice of the Cowardly Lion in the movie. You probably know the Cowardly Lion from The Wizard of Oz, along with the Tin Man and Scarecrow. I won't say who the Tin Man and Scarecrow is due to spoilers, but it may not be who you might expect. But they're in it. Vernon James portrays Shinshin, a college friend of Grinda who now works with one of her assistants. Aaron Taylor portrays Everett, who is Bob's friend and another one of Nesselrose's servants. Sharon D. Clark portrays the voice of Dursley Bear, a talking brown bear and Alphaba and Nesselrose's former childhood nanny. Madeline Wilson portrays the movement artist for Dursley Bear. D. Bradley Baker portrays the voice of Triceri, who is the leader of the Green Monkeys, while Robin Gruvio portrays the movement artist for Triceri. And we also see Kira Setti, Louisa Guerrero, Adam James, and Alice Fern reprising their roles from the first film as Miss Cotty, Dr. Dillerman's movement artist, and Grinda's parents. Also, I would like to add that Bethany Weaver portrays Dorothy Gale in the movie. Now, I will say this. According to the film's director, we don't actually see Dorothy's face. Because according to the director, Dorothy is a pawn in Alphaba's plans. And the movie is focused on Alphaba and Grinda, rather than Dorothy and her pals from The Wizard of Oz. Now, the movie does reference the events that happened in The Wizard of Oz movie, but Wicked 2 is more about Alphaba and Grinda's friendship and everything that revolves happening around them. But I will say this. You will see Dorothy, but it would be more towards her backside rather than her actual face. I'm not saying you might not get a brief shot of it, but the movie is more focused around Alphaba and Grinda. But it does reference The Wizard of Oz. It does reference the events of The Wizard of Oz. So, this movie is the conclusion to the Wicked Prey and the friendship between Alphaba and Grinda. Now, I have heard there'll be more spin-off stories within the Wicked universe, but I wouldn't say it's like a part 3 or 4. But it'll be interesting to see what happens. But this was really good. I definitely recommend it. So that's my movie review of Wicked 2 for Dude. Please enjoy for this movie review. Alright, goodbye.